Hey, hey, hey. So I totally had myself on mute, y'all. Hey, y'all. What's up? What is up? Welcome to Jackie Yaps a Lot, y'all. All right, y'all. I have a list of topics, okay? I got me a sticky note. And y'all, how I prep for this show is really just living my life. You feel me? Like I'm living my life, and then I'm like, you know what? I gotta talk about that on my show. All right, so welcome to Jackie Yaps a Lot. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this is a provocative talk show. Okay, it is recommended for an audience of 18 plus because I am blunt and I cuss a lot. I'm going to hit upon all the topics from racial justice to anti racism to I gotta slow down when I talk. To social justice. All right. I'm gonna hit upon it all, but I am bringing it to you unapologetically. Okay. I am going to be raw. I am going to be blunt. Okay. And everything is coming to you through a black scented lens. And y'all, that's important. All right. So if you are sensitive, if you don't like cussing, you might not want to be watching my show. However, if you're thinking you don't want to watch because you might get uncomfortable, I'm going to argue that you should stay on and you should tune in every Tuesday. All right? Because change comes at that point of discomfort. You feel me? All right, so that's what Jackie Yaps a Lot is about. I am here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. EST on Culture Flix. All right. Um, Culture Flix also will upload my show, post the live stream within 3 to 5 business days. And so you can always come back and see me here and catch all my episodes. And yeah, okay. So I'm always like super awkward when it comes to transitioning on a live stream because it's just like, all right, cool. All right, so my intro's done. I gave you my little disclaimer, right? That I cuss a lot, that I'm blunt, that I'm raw, that I'm gonna touch upon topics that are gonna make people uncomfortable. Okay. All right, so should we get to it? Should we get to it? I think we should. I think we should. All right. First of all, y'all, did you notice something different? Because look at today, I got my face all dolled up for y'all, right? So I'm gonna plug my baby girl. She is an inspiring makeup artist. So she does all my makeup for me from my photo shoots to my live stream. I also may or may not be coming to you on TV too. She does my makeup for that as well, y'all. So she did my makeup for me today. She does so good. She does so good. Look at it, right? Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to talk slower, a little bit slower tonight because I do have a lot of topics, but I really want to make a lot of really strong points. And sometimes when I get really excited, y'all, like, don't worry, the energy is still going to be here. But when I get really excited, I start talking really fast. That's when sometimes I go off on my rambles. And as much as my rambles are dope, like I said, I got a lot of topics. And last time, y'all, I didn't hit upon all my topics. And then you know what? I forgot to write down what I didn't hit upon. But that's okay because guess what? You don't know what you don't know. All right. So first thing I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with something positive, right? I'm going to start with something positive. And I'm going to pull up. I also made my new thing where I have my notes now for what I'm just getting more organized, and that makes me happy. And that means it's going to be a better show for you. But okay, anyways, all right. So I want to talk to you about the black man who pissed off Hitler. Yeah, y'all heard me right. If you're following me on TikTok, you already seen this video. On Instagram, you saw this video, right? And if you're not following me, I don't know why you're not following me. Because you should be. Okay, anyways, so yeah, there was a black man back in 1936 who was on the US Olympic team who pissed off Hitler. And his name was what? I'm like doing this like we're on Blue's Clues or something, right? Like, okay, tell me all. All right, his name was Jesse Owens. All right, y'all. Jesse was dope as shit. All right, so here's the deal though. So Jesse Owens was excited, right, about going to the Olympics, right? And he was excited for multiple reasons, but one big reason was because these Olympics were going to be held in Berlin, Germany. And that's when good old boy Hitler was chancellor of Germany. And Hitler, was saying that the Aryan race was superior and that Black people were inferior. And he stated that for this reason, right, Black people are inferior, that he is confident that no Black person was going to beat his German athletes, right? Yeah, well, no. Jesse Jesse made him eat it in like a big way, y'all. All right, our brother got gold in the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, and the broad jump. And if that is not enough, he was also a key member of the winning relay team. So Hitler was so fucking pissed off that he actually stood up and left the stands because he did not want to sit there and watch Jesse get his gold medals. Right? So come on now. Right? I am always going to throw something great about our people in this show. I am, Jackie's Academy at the end of the day. You are on Jackie Yaps a lot, but I am Jackie's Academy and I'm here to educate. I'm also here to uplift because I got to talk about some pretty annoying shit. And when I start off talking about our people, I get mad excited, y'all. And you can like probably just see it come over me because we are dope as shit. Like we are dope as shit, right? Like that Black man, like I would have paid money to watch that Black man make Hitler walk out, like to watch Hitler leave, like his face, like all right, y'all. So here's the deal though. As you get to know me more through this show, and as you join my community, if you're not already on, in one of my communities, I hope you're in all of them, right? So I'm on Threads, right? I am on Substack. I am on Instagram. I am on TikTok, reluctantly. I have a dope community on TikTok, which is why I remain. And I think I said Instagram. Why do I feel like I forget one? Oh, I do have YouTube, but I'm not really good at YouTube. I don't know what the shit I'm doing over there. Okay. But anyways, you should be following me. But as you're in my community, what you're going to notice about me, if you pay attention, is that I'm very, very strategic. Everything I do is deliberate. So I posted about Jesse on my Substack a couple weeks ago because I'm always sharing a bunch of phenomenal educational material. And I wrote about Jesse and I shared there. And I held on to him. And I held on to him for a reason. Because as I was reading about Jesse and studying a little bit more about his legacy, which again, another dope part of my job, it struck me this parallel that I felt. And today, that parallel like really hit me. And that's how shit be working in my brain. Like it will come out of fucking nowhere. You feel me? It would come out of nowhere. But this popped back up into my brain. And I shared the story today deliberately. And what I did is I presented it in the manner to which I did deliberately, right? Because at the end of the day, what I have come to settle on is it draws a striking parallel to what's happening now. The white supremacists, right, that are running this country, they have the same twisted mindset as Hitler. They see us as inferior, right? And it's that perceived inferiority that gives them their false sense of power over us. And that perceived power, that need to hold dominance, that turns them into fucking monsters, right? And the thing is like, you don't need to sit here and just take my word for it. Just open your fucking eyes to what's going on in this country alone right now, right? So, so you can make parallels between Hitler and Trump all motherfucking day, right? But I think what really stuck out to me is the inferiority, because that is a lie that white supremacy has fed us since the inception of race. And what I mean by that is the day that white folks constructed race is the day that they started that falsity that black folks are inferior. And we see that time and time again repeat itself. And that is the parallel that we're drawn in today, and you can even see it in our in even like the US sports, right? I'm sorry, the US the open, right? Like the way he goes there to be celebrated, and that, you know, that false sense of superiority that he's exuding, right? I mean, ain't nobody there cheering for that motherfucker, but you see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, um the parallels between Hitler and Trump are so striking, and this story hit me not just for that fact, but also because time and time again, we have shown that we are not inferior, right? Like Jesse is just one example, but like time and time again throughout history. I mean, you can go back as far as Maria Stewart, right? The first black feminist, right? Like we are not inferior, and not only in our bodies, but not in our minds as well. And it's a lie, right? It's a lie of white supremacy. But what I've come to realize, and when I wrote this down, because I have it, I was like, shit, girl, you fucking smart. I like you. But what it made me realize as I was, creating the caption for my to accompany, right, my TikTok, was that, and I'm just going to read it, that on the flip side of this, right, it's these people like Hitler who keep proving that the only truly inferior race is the one that's always trying to dominate. And think about it. Last week, we talked about the definition of white supremacy, and it's about dominance, right? They're trying to dominate over our people, right? They're trying to dominate over black people. They're trying to dominate over every, ethnicity that is fucking out there. But you know what I mean? White supremacy is about dominance, power, control, and it's always at the detriment, right, of black people, of non-white people, always, right? So if you think about it, that is inferior. The fact that you need to go to these extraordinary lengths, right? These extraordinary lengths to reign your perceived dominance over a subset of people and still end up being mediocre, still falling up short no matter what you do, because at the end of the day, y'all, like, yes, okay, at the end of the day, they have the power over the government and whatnot, but at the end of the day, like, they know they're mediocre. At the end of the day, you have all of these oppressions in place, and you're still mediocre. You're only reigning on top because of this racial construct that you built to intentionally remain on top at the detriment of black people. So who's really inferior? I mean, black people are running around doing this shit. We're not running around trying to show you that we're better, baby. We just no, I'm just kidding. No, but we are. Seriously though, like we just do. We just do, and our excellence shines through, and then white folk want to emulate us, right? But they don't want to say they're emulating us, right? They want to steal it. They want you know what the fuck I'm gonna say. But at the end of the day, what Jesse's story reminded me of was that the only inferior individuals are those who try to dominate another set of people. And the reason being for everything I said, but also, I mean, how insecure are you? If you're secure in yourself, if you're confident in who you are, you don't need to do that. You don't need to oppress people. You don't need to create laws to keep them down, right? You don't need to do that. I mean, you can correlate it to the workplace, right? I got ahead in my last job because I worked hard, not because I fucking stepped on other people's backs, right? You understand? Because that's not how I operate. You understand? So I don't know, y'all. Like I said, see, I get all tangenty and then I get all irritated and then I lose my train of thought. But he just reminded me, like that story just reminded me, like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like you're always trying to feed this lie that we're inferior, but you're the ones that have to do all this shit, all this shit, all this shit to try to keep what you perceive as power. And the reason why I say power is because you might have governmental power, but you don't really have power over us because at the end of the day, we're still fucking living, we're still smiling, we're still thriving. Okay? All right. All right. So see, that was a long one. All right. So Jesse is done. So let me go back. So I actually am going to start today. Well, not start because I just went on. I just started with that. So, okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I want to talk about that bitch. I want to talk about that bitch. So you want to know what's really been pissing me off? The folks giving this bitch accolades. Yes. Yes. I'm not going to lie. When that bitch was talking during the airing of the Epstein survivors, I was straight up fucking floored. How quick people fucking forget. And then it will be better than that. It's not even that they forget, they fucking remember. They know that this bitch is racist, that she is racially violent. Okay? Just look at the laws. Look at her state. Just look at it. All right? The bitch is racially violent. Okay? And people are giving her accolades for doing her fucking job? Like, let's talk about white privilege for a fucking moment. I mean, what black person gets congratulated for showing up and doing their job? Yeah. Okay. So not only are people applauding this bitch for doing her fucking job, what she should have been doing, and at the end of the day, I'm sorry, before I even finish, at the end of the day, we all know that she's not doing it out of the goodness of her heart. Come the fuck on. But let's just put that aside for a second. Because what really pissed me off about Marjorie Taylor Greene and all this shit, right? All these fucking accolades I saw was that it was so disrespectful to my people. And y'all, we have to tolerate this shit on the motherfucking daily. You all sit there talk about the founding fathers. Oh my gosh, they did this, bitch. They were fucking enslavers. Are you good? Y'all give accolades to the most vile, fucking racially violent motherfuckers. Okay? Without a single thought of how that could trigger my people. The same way that if I said, hey, you know what? Hitler has a great economic plan. He was a genius when it comes to the economy. Did you ever hear his plan? It was so good. It was so good. Would you want to fucking hear that? No. Nobody would want to hear that, and you shouldn't. Because it doesn't matter how smart that man may have been in one realm. He was a fucking monster. Okay? Okay? So why people feel so compelled to just thrust racists down our throat as you search for the little bit of good in them is beyond me. But welcome to white-centered fucking America, right? Welcome to white-centered America, where we tolerate racism, and then we wonder why we have a Nazi sitting in the fucking White House. In the same breath, you wonder this as you sit here and celebrate a fucking vile racist because she decided to do, quote unquote, the right thing. The right thing. Slavery is over. Black people have equal rights. Marjorie Taylor Greene. She described Black people as being, quote, held slaves to the Democratic Party, end quote. Marjorie Taylor Greene said she would be, quote unquote, proud to see a Confederate monument if she were Black, viewing it as a symbol of progress since the Civil War. Greene claimed minorities are hindered by bad choices and being lazy. Marjorie Taylor Greene says Jasmine Crockett doesn't understand the Black struggle because Crockett is educated. So that's that fucking bullshit. That's that fucking bullshit that I be talking about when I say y'all tolerate racists. You tolerate racists and you tolerate racism, and you want us to turn the blind eye. You don't give a shit how triggering it is. Okay, this bitch is a fucking violent racist. You don't understand how triggering it is to watch you all lift her up. And yes, I know there was a lot of white people, especially white women, not me, but there were plenty who replied, oh, well, you know, we need her right now, bitch, please. Okay, bitch, please. What did she end up doing? What happened? What happened? As you were celebrating the races, what happened? Was everything a fucking game changer? Or did you just look stupid celebrating a racist? But that's that motherfucking bullshit that I be talking about when I say that we don't tolerate racists. You don't uplift Marjorie Taylor Greene. You don't celebrate her point blank, period, the same way that I wouldn't start a sentence about Hitler saying Hitler had a great economic vision, but you know what? I really disagree with all the people that he killed. Like, how fucking does that sound, right? Sounds yucky. Can't tolerate it. Sure, there's people pissed I even dared to say it, but it's okay for y'all to do that to us. I'm good. I'm done. And I had to talk about that today because let me bring it down a sec. White people watching my show, do better. This shit is triggering. Okay, I don't care what you think you're doing. I understand that you think, oh, you know, well, we want justice for the survivors, as do I, as do Black women, as do the Black community. Okay? But we should be able to get the survivors the justice they need without at the same time applauding openly a fucking vile racist. You heard those things that bitch said? And that was only a handful of stuff that I found. I'm sure there's more. And like I said, go look at the policies, okay, of her state. Okay, she's racially violent, so do me a favor. Don't uplift her. Okay? If you want to be the asshole that celebrates her, silently applaud her. And when you see a Black person post out about this very thing, about it being triggering, don't be the asshole that goes to the comment section saying, well, there is no We have to live with this shit and worse on the daily. Stop. All right. Marjorie Taylor Greene, y'all. All right. Now I'm going to go on to my next topic. And I got my head bit off of this one, but I really could give two fucking shits. I'm going to talk about the VMAs, okay? Because I was baffled. I'm not going to lie. I knew they were still going to go on, but I was baffled when I turned on my TV and I saw the VMAs up there. Because let me tell you something, y'all. There has to be at some point in our lifetime that Americans, because I'm going to say Americans because this shit is unique, okay, to us, okay? Stop holding celebrities up on these fucking pedestals like they can do no wrong and that they also have no responsibility to us, the very people that gave them their celebrity, their fame, their money, their fortune, right? Like, what kills me about this is, and I'm gonna go into the VMAs though. What kills me about this is, as you know, I'm like outspoken Black activist, and Threads is one of my main platforms that you'll see me on there constantly. And I got other Black activists on there, very strong, vocal Black women, and I watch all of us be held to higher standards than celebrities. Why didn't you donate over here? Why didn't you did this over here? Why, bitch? Because I'm operating on donations as well as trying to get my own funds. I'm telling you, I don't have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, okay, to be able to donate over here. But you all will straight up call out Black activists, and I can fucking show you threads, okay, where you all will call out Black activists about our lack of engagement or support of what we're doing, but you won't call out a celebrity. And if I do, y'all will lose your fucking mind if I dare talk negatively about a celebrity. Now, the thing that pissed me off about the VMAs is that these motherfuckers, on the same day that I forget the exact number, I think it was 459 or 444 South Koreans were being targeted by ICE. These fuckers are wearing their $1 million dresses and sitting there talking about how beautiful they look and whatnot. And y'all can sit there and say, oh no, they deserve to celebrate themselves. Bitch, they celebrate themselves every day in their yachts and their $1 million mansions. Okay, don't you worry. They're celebrating themselves every day. Every day. When you're trying to find a job and you can't find one, they're celebrating when you can't afford your eggs. They're celebrating. Guess what? They got so many fucking eggs. They got so many. All right, y'all. Like, cut this shit. Okay? So I was just, we're really doing this. Like, we're really gonna sit here and put these fuckers on TV. They're really gonna do this right now for all those people talking about the VMAs. Oh my god, exposure. Okay, so the majority of how people get paid is the exposure. Being on the show boosts record sales and concert ticket demand. Okay. So with that in mind, can you tell me why people like Lady Gaga, Beyonce, and Ed Sheeran, and Ariana Grande, and even my man Kendrick, because I love him. But can you tell me honestly why they need exposure? Why not give the exposure to upcoming artists who aren't multi-platinum millionaires? Have y'all ever heard of Fire from the Gods? Now, rumor is that they got a new singer, but they better not have. But Fire from the God is one of my favorite rock groups. And the dude who's the main singer is Black. And he's fucking dope as shit. And the music has meaning. They're all mad talented. Why can't they be on the VMAs? Because, and the reason why I'm pointing this out, and the people who sat there and like, and I like legit lost followers, and I had to remove followers too, because people were acting mad goofy, but the people that are sitting there lashing out at me, telling me that like they deserve this, they like, why? Like, okay, like if you want to celebrate the arts, which I agree, that's the first thing I want to say is I absolutely agree that music is necessary. I also know that music is, I also know that music's not going to stop if the VMAs honestly did not happen this year because celebrities stood down in solidarity. I don't think that's going to end the music scene. Okay. I promise you. Okay. I love music. It's healing. Okay. And I just told you, I love Kendrick. I really do. I think as his music is everything. I was just playing ball to it. But at the end of the day, does he need exposure? No, he doesn't need exposure. You understand? But there's other artists out there. So if you really care and you're really sitting here talking about how the VMAs are so important, then why aren't you also talking about this? That's what I mean, okay. So now let's continue on. So not only now do we have the VMAs where again, the majority of how people get quote unquote paid is because of the exposure, right? So can you help me to understand why Chris Brown and Drake need exposure? Why does somebody who beats women and another person who, I mean, I think we know about Drake. Why do they need exposure? What fucking message are we sending? And again, if you're uncomfortable right now and you're mad at me, it's probably because you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have fucking watched it. I mean, what am I saying that is so worthy of your anger? To hold celebrities to some fucking standard? I can promise you that the VMAs, the money that comes in, that obviously, we just talked about the exposure for the celebrities, but the money that that show generates, I promise you, is not going to our brother Jamal or the average Joe. It's not going there. We're lining the pockets of the elite as we watch them. As we know right now in this country, there is more people unemployed than there are jobs. There are people that can't afford to eat, can't afford their medicine, can't afford to live. I who am not a millionaire, am trying to give out $50, $100 grants where I can to try to help in this time of need because it's so fucking bad. While they're hitting the red carpet in their $1 million of clothes, and I don't want to hear about what they donated with their once, or they came out and they said that this was bad. That's not what the fuck I'm talking about, y'all. They have power, they have money, they have influence. They have everything that we actually need in this country to be heard, to create the disruption. And not only do they willfully not do it, they have hundreds of thousands of morons sitting here thinking, okay, well, you know what, let's defend them. And yeah, I did say morons because it's moronic. It's moronic to sit here and sell your soul and go to bat into literally, I'm fucking top tier, okay? You fucking stop following me. So what? All the stuff that I give you for free, you're gonna start following me because you really needed to stick up for the VMAs over here because those celebrities just mean so much to you because at the end of the day, they give you so much. And again, like I said, music is still here. I have vinyl. I will show you my collection of vinyls. I don't need to watch me the VMAs. I can pop in my fucking Lou Rawls fucking album right now if I want to. You feel me? Like I can go show you my album. I don't need the VMAs. I don't need to watch these motherfuckers sit up there and tell them and congratulate each other on how good they are on what they're doing. And half of them aren't even that fucking talented. Obviously, I'm not talking about them all, but half of them. And then how quick people forget about Lady Gaga and her go to a concert, having a concert when she had COVID. I mean, y'all are goofy as shit when it comes to celebrities. And all I'm saying is let's hold them to some standards. Let's take the black celebrities and I don't name names because if I say any fucking names, Lord knows people's heads will roll. But let's get the celebrities, the black celebrities that are out there, right? The ones that are at the VMAs. Let's get them, and can maybe they can help open an Amazon and a version of Amazon that is black run. And then after they open it, they all the people that lost their jobs that are black, maybe they can help employ them. Like I know that is just I'm just saying it, right? I'm not saying that's something that like is even maybe even a good idea, but it's like there's so many things that our community, the black community lacks when it comes to the economy. And there's so much that these celebrities could do to help. And again, I'm not saying to help and then take on the onus, but like there's so much talent, leadership. There's business managers. There's just I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind right now because there's just so much talent in our community, and all we need is that helping fucking hand. But instead, they're at the VMAs collecting their awards. And please do not come at me on my social media talking about the people who do philanthropy and all that stuff because you know what I'm talking about. Okay? And trust me, it's not just the VMAs. I don't watch any award shows. And I usually hold that shit in because I do try to do, mind my business. I just don't watch it. But that shit really pissed me off because I felt like that was just very insensitive. I felt it was very insensitive. And even if nothing else, like I said, even if my rants about how we could help us create our own version of like a black run like Amazon, or like our own version of like a black Target, right? Like I can say all that, and I understand that like that might be really far out there. But is it really far out there to just like in solidarity stand down? Like, even if you don't want to speak and say Trump's name because you're too nervous about him, like, could you just like stand down and say that, in light of, you know, the people suffering in the country? Or I don't know, I'm sure you got people that write your shit. I'm sure you can come up with something that you could do to not do this. And again, I understand having fun. People are like, well, we all need our outlets. We all need our outlets. But again, I'm looking at you to look for outlets that don't line the pockets of the elite. I'm looking at you to look for the outlets that is not allowing the rich in this country to live in a separate America and to not care what's going on in ours. You understand? Like, there's other ways to find joy. Go to your public library. Mine has records and CDs and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, go for a nature walk. Forest bathing is amazing. And again, like I said, I love music, but you got shit that's already been downloaded. You can listen to that shit. You feel me? You feel me? I'm literally just talking about let's stop lining the pockets of the elite. We need to be able to disrupt. I mean, we need to be able to disrupt the status quo and going on like nothing is happening, like there's, business as usual. That's not how we disrupt. All right, y'all? That's not how we disrupt. All right. That was my yapping about the VMAs. All right. So the next thing I am going to yap about is a letter that I got in the mail. So for those of you who follow me on my social media, you know that since I got this, I think it was I got it under Biden. The flag, I have a flag and it says and it's hanging up in front of my house and it says I don't know who Brandon is, but fuck Trump, and that shit's been up. All right, and it's not coming down. So we get an anonymous letter in the mail and it says, very heartwarming to see two young girls selling lemonade on your corner property with the fuck Trump banner in the background. Very classy indeed. Ain't America great? Enjoy the next 3 years. Okay, so now I'm going to take some time to dissect this. Okay, first of all, we're going to talk about is my baby girl and her friend, they made bracelets. They made these really dope bracelets, and they decided that they wanted to earn a little bit of money, and they asked if they could set them outside and they could sell them. And I was super impressed with the initiative. I'm always about little entrepreneurship. So, of course, I gave them a little spiel, all that stuff. We worked on pricing them, talked about how to generate revenue, sales pitches, all that fun stuff. They went outside, they set up shop. Then we're selling lemonade. And that's important to me. If you're going to come send me this fucking anonymous letter, let's get your shit right. All right. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. There was no lemonade. Okay. By the way, they made $50. They made $50 fucking dollars, and they were happy as shit, as they should be. Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about how this person clearly believes that they have First Amendment rights, but I don't. Because they have no problem sending me this nice little letter, right? And calling me out to express their feelings and to tell me how they feel. Expressing their feelings. Oh, but I can't express my feelings? Okay. So, we're gonna talk about that. What's also very classy indeed is sending an anonymous letter to defend a pedophile. Isn't that wild that you're telling me to enjoy the next 3 years? That my motherfucking fuck Trump flag bothers you more than the pedophile that's sitting up in the White House? Literally bothers you more that I have a fuck Trump flag flying than the fact that we have a convicted felon and rapist sitting in the White House. Okay, so that is my funny note on this. But now I'm going to do a little bit of real talk and I'm going to get serious for a second. In all honesty, this is violent. This is violent. And I'm going to tell you why. Why is this violent? Okay. Look at everything Trump has done thus far in his presidency. I mean, look at Trump as a whole. Okay, we know he hates Black people, right? We'll talk about his father at some other time, right? But there are reports, right, that his father was part of, speculation, we should say, that his father was part of the KKK, right? Trump does not like Black people. He is doing everything he can in an effort to try to incite us, right? To try to incite us, to get us to go to the streets so he can so he can call for martial law, right? The comments he's made, the violence he has incited on our country, on our people, on our country, yes, but I'm talking specifically now against Black people. This is violent because Trump is racially violent. Do you understand? And I, this also, this isn't my first letter. I got one before too, and I'll talk about that in a second, but I'm used to this shit. Okay? I'm used to this shit. I get shit like this on the daily. It doesn't have to come in the mail, right? I wake up to hate. I go to bed to hate, right? That's my everyday. And so shit like this to me, my first reaction is I think it's fucking hysterical. But when I decompress and I really sit there and I think about it for a moment and I say, you know what, Jackie, think about this outside of who you are as this, fearless, outspoken, Black woman activist, just think about this and think about what this person's really saying to you, what they're really, what this means. And the thing is folks might look at this and say, oh, I think that's extreme. It's not extreme. And again, I'll do it. I'll say the same thing. Replace Trump's name with Hitler and pretend I'm Jewish. You know that movie? This just reminded me of that movie. I think it was a Matthew McConaughey. I think it was Samuel L. Jackson. And then he tells everybody to close their eyes. And he describes that horrendous scene, then says, open them. And, now picture that she was white. Like, that's what I feel like I have to do here. I have to bring it back to a white example so you all can understand the gravity of it. Because for us as Black people, these things are always, always underplayed, right? There's always that little bit of outrage or that, oh my gosh, like, fuck them. I can't believe it. They said that, and they'll do, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, the outrage is never the same for us, right? And so we just go on, right? But I wanted to make sure that as much as, like I said, when I first came on and I started talking about this, those are my genuine feelings. That's how me, Jackie, that's how I react to this. In fact, I get petty as shit. I haven't decided if I'm going to do anything, but the last time someone sent me a letter like this, and I believe it's probably the same people because I got Trump people that live down the street, and I cuss them out every time I see them. I'm like, hey, how you doing? How you doing, racist? And they get mad. It's so fucking funny. But I got a letter too a couple, like 6 months ago, whatever. And what I did is the letter, when they sent it to me, I had my husband blow it up and we made a custom flag and we flew the letter next to the flag. And it was that fucking funny. It's so petty and I love it. I don't know. So I'm trying to think. If you have any ideas, there you go. If you got any ideas, you're watching my show, you got any ideas of how I can get mad penny with this letter to display it, let me know, okay? Because I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. All right, so that was that. So I got 10 minutes. I like this. I like the flow. Do you like the flow? I like the flow. All right, so before I go on to any other topics, I'm going to do a few of my, what I call them, plugs. So the first plug that I want to give is actually about African consultation. I have a gentleman on my website that actually specializes in helping folks relocate or start a business in Africa. And I'm not sure if y'all are aware of that. So if you go onto my website, and here I am doing it too, so I can walk you through it. But if you go on to my website and then you come down to African Insights and Consultations, do you see that? Oh, look at this, it's going to work. You will see, all right, hold on, I can do this. She can be taught. Oh, no, the camera's over there, Jackie. Okay. You'll see live or run a business in Africa or both. Okay. On today is also on my website under showcasing Black excellence, so you can read more about him there. But I wanted to plug these consultations because the money that will be raised is going to go to starting a music school. And oh my gosh, now I'm like drawing a blank. Let me go back. And look at me over here. I even took a picture. Hold on, because I got a different picture that I was going to say right here. Yeah. So Malawi. So he's Coach Andre. He's a Malawi-born U.S., UK-raised entrepreneur, backed by Jackie's Academy and the good old USA. He helps people learn how to live in Africa or do business in Africa or both. That's what I'm saying. I'm reading his little write-up, which I probably should have read first. But so you can book a Zoom or a Google Meet consultation with him. And like I said, the sessions are very robust. They are $25 an hour, but they're very robust. And then again, you can go at your own pace. This is a way, for you to create your legacy, especially if you're looking to do, build that, that connect to Africa, which is one of the goals of Jackie's Academy. So I was so excited when he reached out to me because it provided me with the opportunity to not only give him a $100 grant so he could purchase a laptop, but also to be able to host, right, his classes for him. And what that means is I'm providing the platform for him to use. So hop over to my website once you get off the call. Go over to the section that African insults. Oh my God, can you imagine African insults? Oh Lord, I'm not good at night, y'all. I'm not good at night, but insights and consultations, and check it out. Look at it. It's a pretty dope opportunity. There's a lot of dope stuff on my website. I know y'all fucking heifers out looking at it. Because it would be y'all would be louder about that shit, right? But okay. So I wanted to plug that. So yeah, I hope you're on. I hope he said he was gonna download the app and watch the show. So hey. um I do got time. I'm gonna do another plug before I go into my next topic. So you see behind me over here, I have a book. Hold on, let me get up. Oh man, she's getting up, y'all. She's getting up. All right. Y'all see this? It's the 1619 project. Born on the Water, y'all, is for kids. I actually think, no, not I think, it's on the banned book list. But one of the reasons why I am talking about it is because I want to make sure that you know that I also have a children's corner. It's called Parent and Palette. I hope I said that right. My husband says I always say it wrong, and then we always laugh about it. So I have no idea if I just said that right. But isn't that cool too? I named the sections in my own daggone academy, then I can't pronounce it. That's silly. But it's called Children's Corner. And every month I feature a new children's book recommendation. Okay. And this month you'll see what's on there. And you'll see I have a write up, which you can read if you go on. So I thought it'd be really neat because I'm wicked big geek. Like I was like, oh, I said to my husband, oh my God, I got a dope idea. I'm gonna put the book that I am recommended. I'm gonna put that in the back of me so people can see it and I can talk about it. I thought it was a really good idea. Okay. So it is, like I said, it is on the banned book list. So if you're, if you want to talk more to me about, renting a copy so you can have it and read it to your kiddos, or hell, I get on a fucking Zoom call and I'll read it to your daggone kids too if you want. I love doing stuff like that. I love reading to kids. So yeah. Okay. So that was that. I like that. I still think that was a good idea. But yeah, and the other cool part too, just so you know, I'm gonna do a little quick plug here too. I also have Jackie's Parenting Pearls on here. Okay. And I put some pretty dope shit. And this month is the ultimate adventure, finding your child's learning zone. So I did this with my kiddos, and it was a game changer, especially when it came to reading, because both of my girls have very different approaches to reading, and yours truly was absolutely approaching them both the same. And I had some lessons learned. So when I tell you that I have a parenting corner, it's because what I'm doing is sharing my lessons learned, right? Because parenting didn't come with no daggone fucking playbook. And, we learn stuff along the way. And I'm an educator. So why not, right? I figured let me take my lessons learned and let me turn them into a little bit of an education for everybody else. Take it or leave it, but I think it's pretty fucking dope. All right, so hit up my academy, www.jackiesacademy.com, and hit up the Children's Corner. Read about the book recommendation and check out the Parenting Pearls. And reach out to me again, like I said, if you want either me to hook up with your kiddo, read them the book, or if you're looking, you need a copy. We could talk about how to rent it or whatnot. Okay, dope. All right, I have 5 minutes left. So I ain't gonna be able to do everything again because I wanted to dissect this bitch's thread that was sent to me today. I really wanted to dissect that shit. So I'm gonna make sure that I don't forget about it. I'm gonna save it for next week, all right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pull up and read what the bitch wrote, and then I'm gonna go through it and I'm gonna just fucking rip it apart, all right? Okay, so I got 5 minutes and I got two things I want to talk about. One is I told y'all I was going to talk about white privilege as much as possible to make sure that people understood that white privilege is a vast amount of things that a lot of times white people don't even realize, right? So what I want to talk to you about today is something that I experienced, and I got to talk quick. I got 5 minutes. that it's just a yapping. See, I yap. I could keep fucking going for like another hour. That's a problem I have. Okay. So, um, I'm sitting there shooting hoops. I told you if you follow me, that's one of my things I do in the afternoons to decompress. I shoot hoops. I fucking love shooting hoops. So I'm shooting hoops, listening to my Pac and Kendrick mix, and I see a white dude just pull over to the side right next to my house, and he just pulls over and he's just sitting there. And my back always goes up when I see white men, especially in trucks, pull up next to my house because I'm sorry, I just don't trust that. So I'm looking and, okay, he's just sitting in the car. And I'm thinking, all right, it's around school pickup and all this stuff. I do my normal mental gymnastics to, make sure I'm safe. I land on I'm safe, I'm fine. But then what I just thought about is from that perspective, like from the white perspective, like he can just go down the street and he can just park there and he can just sit there. Now, as much as me as a black woman got a little bit like, who are you? Because I don't trust nobody outside of everybody because that's what I do. Ain't nobody gonna call the cops on him. Ain't nobody really that's not hyper vigilant about their surroundings like I am really gonna pay him any mind. And he doesn't need to think of that, right? He doesn't need to think like to stop and think like if I pull over here, what is the racial makeup of this neighborhood? Because if I pull over here and this is a predominantly white neighborhood, am I going to think that I'm out of place? Are they going to call the cops on me? Am I going to be confronted with a gun? Now I'm in Massachusetts, so I don't really worry about the gun aspect, but you feel me? Like, think about that. Like, brothers and sisters, like, we risk it. We risk it. We risk it if we pull over on a street where we do not know nobody and nobody knows us. You understand? And when you're white, you might pull over as a white woman in the dark and get nervous because it's the dark. I mean, white women, you're nervous about everything, anyways, right? What the fuck? But, anyways, again, that's not what I'm talking about, right? Because y'all like to dissect the shit I say, okay? So, again, that's white privilege, y'all. Just think about it. The next time you get lost and you pull over to the side of the road to pull up your phone and call somebody or look at the map, and you're white, you remember my voice, that you're not afraid that somebody is going to call the cops on you, that you're not afraid of what a neighbor might do when they come out, that you, for the most part, know that you are safe. All right, y'all. I only got 2 minutes left, so the last thing I want to say is that your wellness matters, and that is physical and your mental wellness, y'all, okay? You need to take care of yourself. It is okay not to be okay, and you should not be operating as, you do every other day or you have every other year because no. Okay. I have a wellness sanctuary and I'm not just plugging it from my website, y'all. I really like when I say my website is top tier, it's top tier because I built it to help. I want to be the light in your storm. You understand? Like you're my community. I want to be the light in your storm. And my wellness sanctuary are things that I do for my mental and my physical health. And stretching is one of those things. And I know it sounds weird and it sounds like, oh, really? But trust me, I put up a whole routine up there that you can follow when you wake up and before you go to bed. And I promise you, it is a game fucking changer. All right. So hit up my website, www.jackiesacademy.com. Hit up the Wellness Sanctuary. Check out the Children's Corner. Go book your consultation with my man. Have a good fucking rest of your week. You can see me again tomorrow morning on Threads. Nah, but for real, y'all, follow me on my social medias. Make sure you tune in every Tuesday, 7 p.m. EST on Culture Flix to catch me out. That's me. That's your girl. Much love.